So let's start. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen, you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, you cannot see my screen, please call me on WhatsApp. Call me for me to know that there is something that I need to fix. Okay, you all see my screen, you all can hear me. Okay, it's fine. So today we're going to do chapter 4. Don't forget to do your first exam, checkpoint basic, because after chapter 1, 2, 3, chapter 1, 2, 3, you have an exam. Yeah, please don't forget to do that. So today we're going to do a physical layer. So remember, chapter 3, we did study the OSI model. The OSI, we see that we have 7 layers: physical, data link, network. Yeah, so today we focus on the physical layer. So the physical layer, the OS model is how to group any topic in IT, in networking, in sections. For example, anything related to a media, Wi-Fi, network cables, we group them in the physical layer. Anything related to a switch, in the network layer. Transport layer is for the delivery. For example, are you going to use the South African Post Office, or are you going to use DHL? TCP is DHL, fast, it's more secure. UDP, it's faster, but it's not quite reliable. So it depends on what service you want. So we're going to study each of them. So for now, we'll focus on the physical layer. So normally that's all for today. Yeah? Physical layer is anything related to a media. Media is what? Cabling and also wireless. So I'm going to show you. Try to make it very simple for you. Yeah, I made it very simple for you here. Yeah, you can have a look, then I'll explain to you. Okay, so the physical layer, anything related to the media. So we see cables and wireless. So for wireless, and we all know what is wireless and Wi-Fi and 1 sec. Mm. So I'm going to make it a bit short to appear. Else, let me see. If I put number 8, let's see a bit up. Yeah, something like that. Up. Down. Yeah. So in IT, especially networking, because we have so many things, we need to classify them. So anything related to media, cables, and what, we classify them in the physical layer. So here we're going to study a bit some type of cables and a bit of wireless. If I go to my data cards, so always when you start, please read the introduction. Why should I take? Because here they explain to you why you should study this and what are you going to do here. See, this module explain the three way to connect and all that. Okay, I'll give you. Okay, all these things you know how to connect a cable. Okay, all these you don't need. It's a bit of electronics. Let me find my PowerPoint to make better. Yep. Yep. Okay. So there are many things in EtherCAD. I prefer you to focus on anything related to the media. We have two sections: wireless media and the cabling. So we're going to see some cabling stuff, and that's all. The okay, you don't need to read all these things. It's a bit of physics or electronics. Okay, this one I'll explain a bit later. So you know the difference between a byte and a bit. So who can explain to me what's the difference between a byte and a bit? You look for a job, you tell people I have CCNA, and say, okay, tell me what's the difference between a byte and a bit. What are you going to say? Or they can ask you what is bandwidth. So the definition is here. Bandwidth is the capacity. If you read, let me take my this guy and it's F5. So you have the definition. Bandwidth is the capacity at which a media can carry data. So a bit is 0 or 1. If you group 8 bits, we call it a byte. So bandwidth is the speed. If you go on the highway, you can go until 120 kilometers per hour. But if it's only one way or maybe in the street, as you know, it's maybe 30 kilometers. Someone want to log on that I cannot see. So you should be knowing all these definitions, what is bandwidth, what is latency, everything is here. I'm going to put it in the questions. And anytime you have questions, let me know. Cabling, when you have network cablings, we have different types. So for the ships, we have one that is called coaxial cable, like the DSTV one. It's mostly used in America. For us, we use for DSTV. But in America, they use it also for networking. So for us, when you take a network cable, you can have what you call UTP. It's not, you see, these cables are not protected. And you have STP, shelled twisted pair. You see. it's more protected, and most of the network cables are STP. Anyway, it will be written on your cable if you buy. Network cable. So when you have such network cable, if you open it, you cut and you open, you will see yeah, you will see. But anyway, we mostly use is STP. You want to log on STP. As you know, anytime you have questions, unmute yourself, tell us your name, and ask your question. So if you go to UTP, that is not protected. It is not protected, and we have I can read this one for a few seconds and we continue. Okay, this is for the unshield. Now, the shield one STP is well protected against any interference or whatnot. You can also check. Okay, we're going to continue shortly. And for the coaxial cable, you can just have a look only and okay, we continue. So cabling, so in the old days, we used to build ourselves, but nowadays you don't need, you go to take a lot, you order, and yeah, we deliver to you. Yeah, you buy, so when you do yourself, you can make some mistakes. This one is not a good cable. If the cable is not well done, there is no communication. So it must be well done, like properly terminated like this one. Now we have three type of network cables like we did. We have a straight cable. We have, yeah, we have three. The third one is called a rollover cable or console cable. And we have a straight cable and a crossover cable. So you can check this. and explain the difference, how to identify them. So we use a straight cable to connect a switch to a router. So as a network engineer, you cannot just grab any type of cable to connect to anything. You see, we have some rules. If you want to connect two PCs, you must need a crossover cable. Two switches, a crossover cable. Two routers in a lab, not in real life, because in real life you use what? With serial cable, but the most cable that we use is this one. So how to identify them? You take the two connectors and you check. If I take a network cable here, image, yeah. So nowadays, yeah, just order and you get your cable. Let's check an example here. How to identify a straight through cable, crossover cable, and a console cable. You can go for a job interview and you say, what type of cable is that? How will you know it's so let's wait. My connection's a bit slow. Yeah. So how to identify if this cable is a straight through cable, a console cable, or a crossover cable? So you take the two connectors, you take this side, you take the other side, and you compare the colors. You see, and so each pin, we have 8 pins, 1 until 8. So if the colors from 1 to 8, the order of the color is the same like here, 1 to 8, if it's the same way of colors, we call it the straight cable. If it's the opposite, we call it a rollover cable. You see, opposite. So if you have a cable that is not a console cable or a rollover cable, it's not a straight, then it's a crossover cable. So that's all. So first thing first, to identify, you check the connectors. If the order of colors are the same, it's a straight. If it's opposite, it's a crossover cable. And no, it's a rollover cable. For example, if we start, let me put insert table. So let's say RJ45-1 and RJ45-2. So let's say what this section is RJ45-1. This one is RJ45-2. Then if I say, for example, one blue, see for the other one should be blue also, the same. If I take pin 2 is white, blue, white and blue, the other side should be the same thing. If I take pin 3, for example, if I say, for example, red, so for a straight cable, you see, it will be the same thing. The other hand, and see, if pin 1 is blue on the other cable, pin 1 should be blue for the other cable, other connector, you see. If it starts pin 1 blue, pin 1 blue, white, blue, green, green, black, black, red, red. It's the same order. Then we call it a straight through cable. If it's the opposite, for example, here is red and here is blue. You see pin 1 blue and the other one, so here it starts with blue, the other one it ends with blue. Pin number 2, white, blue is fine. Here pin number 3, red. You see, so it's like, and you are twisting and you are turning, you are reversing, yeah. So if you reverse the order, then we call it a rollover cable. A rollover cable. Yeah, so don't spend too much time on that. These are the 3 type of cables. So if you go in your NETA card, we explain again the order. So you see here the order are the same. One is white, green. No, here is not the straight in crossover. Okay, I think this one's a crossover. For straight, the same colors are the same on the other hand. If it's the opposite, it's a rollover cable or console cable. If it's not straight cable, rollover cable, automatically it's a crossover cable. Fiber, we have 2 types: single mode, cheaper, it doesn't cover long distance. Multi-mode, more expensive, more powerful, it covers long distance. So it depends on the distance and the quality you need and the budget you have. They're all good, but it depends on what you want. So check this and we continue. So I think I did send you the questions already, for chapter 4. Okay, we continue. Any questions so far? Any questions? So now it's a bit of theory. I know we like configuring stuff. So fibers, we have 2 types if you go for job interview, and maybe one day you can work in a fiber company. So you should know the difference between these 2, the single mode and the multi-mode. And we use it for what? ISP, Internet Service Provider, fiber to the home, and submarine cables. Now, at the end of each connector, we have different type. It depends on what you want. If your manager, you focus on this one, this type. So we have ST connectors. SC connectors, LC connectors. It depends on which version of connectors you have. So before you buy a cable, we'll tell you this one work with SD connectors. So check on your router if you have a fiber slot, a fiber module. Let me come here, fiber module, Cisco. That's what you see here. So it depends on which connector you buy. If this one fits on your net, on your router or on your switch, then you must buy the connector that fits. It will be written SD or SC. Then you buy the relevant, like this one, you see, the relevant cable. So yeah, see here, for example. So you have you see this one. If you have it on your router, it will be written ST, SP, or S what, then you buy the relevant with the same type of connectors that you should use. SFP, single fiber, or what. So before you buy, read properly. If it does fit on your router, on your switch, it will be written, this router accepts this type of fiber module. Fiber module, Cisco router. It can be a router or a switch. Here, I don't know. I don't Cisco it as SFP. I don't see the module here. Yeah, anyway, normally everything's written on the user manual. Yeah, you can also buy this one and put. You buy them and you put in your router. Okay, so anyway, that's all for the fiber. We have two type of fibers, and you should know the different type of connectors. You see here, yellow is for single mode fiber. So if you have a fiber job interview, they give you yellow and green, yellow and orange. Orange is for multi-mode. You know, orange for multi-mode, more powerful, more reliable. Yellow for single mode, maybe for shorter distance, lower traffic. So for each, it's written what type of connectors you should buy to fix them. Okay, all these. So for the media, we have wireless and the cables. Cables, we have the fiber and we have the normal network cables, UTP or STP. So in STP, we have straight through, crossover, and console cable or rollover cable. For wireless, we know how it works. We have some names according to a distance. If a distance is less than 10 meters, we call it Bluetooth. If the coverage is 100 meters, we call it Wi-Fi. If it's a town or a city, we call it WiMAX. This one is only in America. So when you say Wi-Fi, it means the wireless coverage is 100 meters. If it's 10 meters, like TV, or you want to transfer something from a laptop to what? Bluetooth, maximum 10 meters. The name of the wireless. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. IEEE, all this stuff is the standard, how it should be for everyone. IEEE, this one is the standard, how it should be for everyone when it comes to Bluetooth. So if you're in a company and you want to have wireless, there is something called wireless access point. And also your laptop or your PC should get a wireless network interface card inside. Nowadays, when you buy a laptop, it's already in. But for PCs, you must buy and install. If you want to use your PC with Wi-Fi or laptop with Wi-Fi, laptop is already in. Access point, I'll show you some example of access points. Cisco access point. So it's a device, a white device we put on the ceiling there. And then we put it with someone with ceiling, then it's going to broadcast the signal. Yeah, we'll also do a lab for that, Wi-Fi wireless stuff. You see, so sometimes when you go to company, you see on the top some stuff, some white stuff. Yeah, it's the access point. It's connected to a switch. We switch to a router. So all your laptops, all your cell phone will get connected to this access point. Yeah, so you see in companies, it will be on top there. Yeah, you see. People access point. It's this guy that will allow Wi-Fi, people to get connected to a Wi-Fi. All cell phones in the company, all the laptops will get connected to it. And this guy is in the background, is connected to a switch to a router, the router now to internet. Okay, normally that's all for this chapter. It's a very short one. Now, if you have a PC and you want to use Wi-Fi, you must buy a wireless NIC or network interface card. So you open your PC and you plug to the extension. Then you have Wi-Fi on your PC. Yeah. Okay, so normally that's all for this chapter. Chapter 4. is about anything related to media, cabling, and Wi-Fi. So when you go study, in AutoCAD, they give sometimes too much info, then you can get confused. So focus on these sections. And okay, anyway, you know how to study. Then summary, what did you learn in this chapter? It's here. Wireless media, you get some info, fiber, UTP. For me, I focus a lot on the introduction and the summary. Then I do some quiz and to practice if I did understand well. Any questions, guys? That's all for today. Any questions? So we had Trésor, Sharon, patient, engineer. I should say engineer, sorry. Engineer Trésor, engineer Sharon, engineer. So on Thursday, we'll be doing chapter 5. No, chapter 5 we did. Chapter 5 we did with number systems. With number systems we did. Maybe I can give you, now we did. If you have questions, let me know. Then on Thursday, we'll be doing a layer number 2 with data link. Anything related to a switch, what a switch is, what is inside, we use it for what? MAC address, frames, we're going to study layer number 2 on Thursday. Yeah, so today we did the physical layer. On Thursday, we do with data link. Anything related to a switch, to a frames, MAC address, different type of switch, what is inside, why we need it is very important before you start configuring and do whatever you want to do. After that, we'll go to a router, step by step, step by step. Okay, if no questions, then thank you so much for today. And we'll be meeting again on Thursday, same time. Anytime you have questions, please, the WhatsApp group is there. Feel free to ask your question or feel free to contact me if you want to. It's up to you.